Something that you should know about me is I am huge on aligned momentum, like not just doing things for the sake of doing things, but actually finding that sweet spot where your action is actually paying off for you so that you're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall and doing a ton of stuff just out of the sake of hustle, but you're actually intentional with your strategy and you are creating from a place of experience instead of a place of trying to force everything or trying to make things happen for you just to feel disappointed, burnt out, or set yourself up for like pure sabotage. So today I want to walk you through something that I recently led inside of my takeover mastermind. And this is such an interesting story because I can't wait to tell you like all the things about it. But I called this strategy the Biggie Month, like Biggie, like it is big. And it actually ended up being one of the most transformative things that I've ever done with my clients. And I have both like a lot of empathy for what they went through during their Biggie Month. And I also am very proud of them for what they learned and observed and what they took from it. And it was like, I don't know what day it was. Might have been like a Thursday or a Friday, maybe even Saturday. I don't remember exactly, but it was the end of October and I was thinking to myself, like, of course I want to do a Black Friday thing in November, but I'm feeling this calling to make November a very big deal. And anytime that I feel these sort of things, I bring my mastermind with me and my private clients. Like the people that are the women that are inside of my mastermind, the women that work with me privately, like they get the behind the scenes on all of my business, and not just for the sake of like knowing things, but I want them to also be inspired to move, and we move together. Like I see all of this as teamwork, even though we're each individually running our own businesses. I like to do stuff together so that we can mastermind on it. Like we can really go back and forth and have a conversation and like, we're in it together type of feeling. So anyway, it was like one of these mornings and I was thinking to myself, I want to structure November to be like a really big month. And I came up with this entire strategy. I started putting together slides in Canva and I was like, oh my gosh, this is coming together so beautifully. I'm going to invite my mastermind to get on a call on Sunday because I knew that this was going to be a really long call. I never host calls or trainings over Saturday or Sunday. Like the weekend I'm very respectful of both my clients and my own life. And yes, I do a ton of work for my business over the weekend. Like I'm not saying that I don't work over the weekend because I definitely do. And I think that it doesn't even feel like a sacrifice most of the time. Like I'm obsessed with what I do. So the weekend is fun for me because it feels like less pressure, less like, I don't know how to describe it. I just feel like a little bit more calm when it comes to working on the weekends. Like I fully enjoy that. However, I don't contact my clients. Like I help them create that boundary. And then I also create that boundary for myself. But anyway, on this particular Sunday, I was like, I'm going to invite them to come on this training call and they can come if they want to. Otherwise, it'll be recorded. And I'm going to train them on what I'm going to call the Biggie Month. And majority of them came, which I freaking love. And this call ended up being close to 3 hours of me coaching them through a strategy, which honestly was insane. So just for like context, the Biggie Month is essentially an entire month dedicated to marketing with an ascension model inside your business. And that's like a ton of mumbo jumbo. Like I totally understand that. The reason that I'm explaining this to you is because I think it's important for you to conceptualize like the intensity of the Biggie Month. However, it was an ascension model. So if you think about an ascension model, you're basically going like from low to high, like you're ascending, like the plane is taking off type thing. And then we also like filtered and structured in a customer journey along the way. So first they created like a free opportunity, like a freebie, a lead magnet, if you will. And most of the women inside of the mastermind created a download of sorts, like something that people could download. And there was some like nuances to this. Like we had some very particular things with this download. I'm not going to get into all of that because then this would become a 3-hour long episode, but they first created this free opportunity. So once they marketed and invited into the free opportunity, that opportunity led into a low ticket offer, which was mostly for most of these women. And again, I have women of all niches. Like I have very minimal amounts of business coaches in my world. I definitely have a good handful of them, but majority of my clients that I work with are from a wide diversity, a wide range of niches. So the masterclass is not always like the best thing for every single niche. So I work with you on figuring out what that will look like for your business and for your ideal client. But the majority of the women inside of the takeover held a low ticket masterclass for their low ticket offer. Then that low ticket experience, that masterclass, led into the mid ticket offer. Okay. And again, nuance to this because the mid ticket offer wasn't going to be starting in the month of November. It was going to be starting in the month of December, which is huge. And like if you haven't been taught that in your strategy to pre-sell, especially in a month where you're doing a lot of launching, a lot of selling, major key alert. So that mid ticket offer at the end or even like toward the middle of the experience of the mid ticket offer, that would either, the whole purpose of that would be to give the new clients that are coming into this opportunity a taste of their work, so that then they would ascend into the high ticket offer eventually whenever that mid ticket offer ended. So that's kind of how I coach my clients to think, is like, you have this high ticket offer, whether that is your mastermind, or maybe you hold events and you have retreats, or maybe you have like a high ticket one-on-one private clientship, whatever that looks like. Your goal is to always filter people toward that high ticket offer. And so that's going to create this monthly recurring revenue for you, which we're not going to get into all of that. But all of that to be said, once they were done marketing that mid-ticket offer, both behind the scenes and publicly, then for a couple of days, they did publicly talk about the high-ticket offer. So it was a lot of selling and a lot of marketing. And there's a difference between like creating content for marketing purposes and creating content to enhance that know, like, and trust factor within your brand. Big difference. This Biggie Month is solely focused on marketing. So instead of random selling, instead of like, what most people do for the Black Friday vibes is they take like a bundle of already like recorded courses, or like already sold done for you packages, or already sold downloads, like whatever that is. And they bundle them together and they slash 50% off. And that's what they try to sell on Black Friday. Instead of doing that, we actually created an experience for people during the month of November. And it wasn't like fragmented offers either. It was highly intentional. Like the entire Biggie Month also has a through point of a similar transformation so that it makes sense for the ascension model to be in place. So instead of throwing things at the wall and just trying to go crazy, selling everything and hoping something sticks, everything became intentional. Everything became sequenced, which to me feels really good. I'm like I'm fully OCD. Like I was diagnosed actually in 2020 with obsessive compulsive disorder by a psychiatrist. And it truly is who I am. Like it's part of who I am. But I don't always love sharing that because I also feel like OCD is completely misunderstood. However, something being sequenced, like predictability, feels really good to me, even though sometimes it's also my bottleneck. Okay, I don't even know how I got there, but everything about the Biggie Month became a part of an actual customer journey. So I wanted them to experience what this looked like in collapsed time. And I didn't just hand them this model and say, like, good luck, like go try this and go see if it works. I led them through the full strategy. So the strategy started the day I did the 3-hour training, but it didn't end there because they're in my mastermind and they're in my world, or even the private clients that I had that joined in on this. It led our conversations for the entire month. So every hot seat call, like everything that we did was surrounding this strategy. And to add to that, I was giving them daily prompts for their content. And these prompts were both for their Instagram stories, like literally slide by slide. Here's, how to say this. Here's how to explain this. Here's how to intrigue and compel, and what to say, how to say it, how to naturally move people without feeling forced. And this is a lot of like plug and play, which I don't always stand for, but I also I remember there was one hot seat coaching call where I had to like coach on like not taking these plug and play templates for their Instagram stories verbatim. Like that's the vibe of prompts, is like most people say this is plug and play, like say this here, say this there. I had to coach on how to look at the prompts and then find your own voice within that. And sometimes it doesn't match up entirely. Most of the time it doesn't match up at all. And so it's like I had to coach on that, and that was an eye opener for me. But I also gave them guidance on what to post to their feed. So these were different flavors of posts, and they were actually really spicy. So for the month of November, we also got into leaning into like being a little bit more, I mean, the only word for it is spicy, like a little bit more like, I don't know, having a strong stance and really backing something with a pointedness in a good way, but like conviction, true conviction. And all of the posts were leaning towards this like feisty, spicy vibe to get very specific to call in that ideal client to these experiences. So I gave them ideas of what to post to their feed. Then I gave them exact direction on how to take from what they were posting to both their stories and their feed and how to put that in their email marketing, which is huge. Like, I think sometimes we don't focus enough on email marketing, and it doesn't have to be so difficult all the time. A lot of times, like, I'm creating emails based off of what I posted that day. However, before, like a year ago, I was creating all my emails like for a launch ahead of time, and I hated it. So my emails were not that good, because if you hate doing what you're doing, obviously it's not going to be that good. Okay. So I will tell you, like, the mastermind women who in the takeover that opted into the Biggie month, they weren't sitting there like wondering, am I doing this right? Like, that was not, in fact, like, I don't feel like I get that question ever from these women, even though some of them are like beginning stages of business and some of them are not beginning stages of business. But I wanted them to be able to feel really confident in the strategy itself. I also think like that's such a common question for all of us, myself included, is like, just hand me the step by step, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And we forget that a lot of what we're doing here is not just a blueprint that we follow. It's actually much greater than that. So, anywho, I wanted them to have the strategy, and then they could simply create, content or create their offers from the experience of what they wanted to provide for people. Like, I wanted them to have less thought on what to create in my content and more thought towards how can I create a wildly powerful offer for the people who are going to be coming into these experiences with me. So this is where this gets even more interesting. When I hosted this main training for this like Biggie month on a Sunday, and like I said, like, if you know me, I never do this. And the fact that they were all on this call and they were super, super, super excited. Like, I'm going to tell you, like, they were overwhelmed, but like, my ideal client, she gets really excited for intensity. Like, she loves that. She's like, hell yeah, like, send me the whole strategy. Like, I want to run through a brick wall. Like, she really was all in on that. But this is where it gets interesting. I was very clear with them in this training of like, I'm leading you through this strategy, but this month is going to be intense. Like, it's going to be a lot, and you're going to feel overwhelmed. And I also want to just set the intention of why this month is going to be important for you. The entire month, the entire point of Biggie Month is not that they were going to have some like massive breakthrough month where they made thousands upon thousands of dollars. Like, that was not the point of this month at all. And I think a lot of times when I watch other coaches, or even some coaches, like, I've been in their world before, when I watch them like teach a strategy, what's missing is like, what am I supposed to learn from this? And that's something that I'm focusing a lot on in my teaching right now in my world, like with my clients, is this entire journey of entrepreneurship, especially for online coaches or female thought leaders. The entire intention is, what can you learn from every single era, every single chapter, every single mistake, every single win? What are you learning as a woman to become even more of a whole woman? Like, an elevated woman is doing introspection at all times. So I wanted to lead the Biggie month with here's the introspection that's going to come from this month, versus tying yourself to an outcome of, I expect the Biggie month to bring in 10K, 20K, whatever it is. Of course, I want them to succeed. Of course, I want them to sign clients. Of course, I want money to move to them. That is always something that I celebrate and love, but that's never the real goal. Like, those things are a byproduct of what you learn about yourself and then who you become because of what you've learned. So the real goal of the Biggie month was that they would use this level of intensity to find their blind spots quickly, like real quick. Because blind spots, when you can figure out where you like need to improve, like when you can figure out what your blind spots are, you are going to like take over the world, truly. I think that's part of what's missing from a lot of the people that I've worked with, a lot of the people that I study, is the greats separated from the average. The greats know exactly where their blind spots are, and then they go find a solution immediately. Like, they don't wait around for a coach to tell them. They don't wait around for it all to work out in its own time. Like, they diagnose their blind spots every single day, and they tackle them every single day. And sometimes blind spots look like, I feel burnt out from this, or I think I've lost my authenticity because I'm trying so hard to stick to a process and stick to a strategy. I'm trying so hard to sell that I've lost my voice. Or sometimes blind spots look like, I didn't have a lead magnet created and now I do. And here's how I want to refine this lead magnet. Or I didn't understand customer journey ascension model at all, and now I do, and I want to include it in every single offer that I create. Whatever that is, there's so many different ways that blind spots can show up when you're actually in motion. But you have to get into action for these blind spots to even appear. Like, sitting back, going into your Google Doc and like planning and like, reverse engineering. If I want to make 10K months, I need this many people in this offer. Like that, there's a time and place for that. But if you're not in action, you can't actually figure out what the problem is. And if you can't figure out what the problem is, then there's no solution to be found. So that's why Biggie Month wasn't about like being soft. It was not about like taking it easy. It was truly about going all in and betting on yourself. And almost like, I celebrate when women fail in my world. And I don't know how to say that without sounding harsh, but when you go like balls to the wall for a full month, and not so that you can hit some arbitrary revenue number, but so that you can see your business clearly, so that you can see your habits, your behaviors, your mindset clearly, then I can coach you. So it's like, I celebrate the mistakes. I celebrate the failures because that's why people pay me to coach them. People don't pay me to just celebrate the fact that they've made a ton of money and woohoo, like, way to go. Like, I'm a coach that really, I take people in and I'm looking at you as a well-rounded woman. I'm not just looking at your business and where to make more money. I'm looking at like, what is your mindset around this? And how do you pick yourself up after you quote unquote fail? And how do you hold the energy when nobody has joined your masterclass? And how do you hold the energy when 100 people have joined your masterclass and now you have this community that is 100 people more than what you had before? Like, all of these things require the mentorship that I like to provide. So that's why Biggie Month existed, so that we could get to this point. And now we're just now stepping into December. So we get to witness, or I get to witness, what that Biggie Month actually changed. And when I tell you like the momentum that Biggie Month created in various unexpected ways, it's mind blowing. So we just had a hot seats call earlier this week. And I want to share with you a couple of the stories that we talked about coming on the tail end of the Biggie Month. There's a few women inside of my mastermind, that a couple in particular, that I want to tell the story about. I could go on for days about all these women, but I want to talk to you about how the Biggie Month changed everything for them, and not in like flashy ways, not in the ways that you would expect. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, all of a sudden they made 100K months and it was just because of the Biggie Month. Like, that shit is not real. It's not real. Like, there's not one strategy out there that is going to take you in 30 days from 0 to 10K months. Like, there's so much more to it. And if you're falling for like people trying to tell you it's any other way, like, this does not happen overnight. This happens by continuously evolving. And the whole point here is that these women that I'm about to tell you their stories, they found clarity, they found confidence, they found self-trust in what they're doing. They became like emotionally more mature as a business owner. They got more fierce in how they lead and how they sell and how they show up. And it was like it's a beautiful thing. And I also, it's interesting because I also had to mirror back to them that they didn't fail. Like, this failure that they think that they had was actually a massive win. So sometimes what changes your business is just finally being courageous enough to look at what's already there, but at full volume, like going fully into this. And the one thing that could change your business is these realizations. So I'm going to tell you about one of my clients who, she is brand new in her business. Like it's only been, I don't know, less than 6 months. And she has a really strong following on Substack. And she had, prior to this Biggie Month, had run a couple of workshops. Like we were working with her on bringing people into her world off of Substack and like into her live presence via Zoom. So she had run a couple of workshops and she had a lot of people enroll and sign up and register for these workshops. And honestly, it's like, I love this part of the phase of business where it's like, it's super important to just get used to even holding a call on Zoom and like having the emotional intelligence in the virtual room to hold a call. Like that's a whole other training in itself, is how to command a virtual room. And so I really wanted her to host these workshops regardless of how many people showed up, just to get into the habit of, okay, I need to send email reminders. I need to set up an opt-in page. I need to create the content for these workshops. I need to send replay emails after we finish. Like all of these different things is a learning experience. And I commend that. Like that's a huge effort. So anyway, she had run these workshops and then Biggie Month came around and she had her entire plan baked out. And I would say probably like halfway through, she completely burnt out. Like she completely burnt out, and she came to the realization that she was trying to force her coaching business. Like she had a very strong subscriber count on Substack because she was being authentic in what she was sharing in her newsletter. And people are paying, like they're subscribing to her newsletter because she's so good at putting words to the screen for Substack. So her realization was like, I'm trying to force this coaching thing, and I want to teach women and men alike. Like before this, she was only teaching women. She came to the realization, like, I don't want to disclude men from my coaching business, but I also want to like pull back a little bit on my coaching business, and I want to lean into my Substack a little bit more. Like I really want to spend more time there. And I'm telling you what, immediately with her realizing that and pivoting, again, this is not a failure. This is not her quitting. This is not her giving up. But immediately with her taking action, she gained like 500 new subscribers to her Substack. And she's ranked 13 out of 100 people. I don't know much about Substack, but she's ranked 13 in like the top Substack newsletter people. Like that's crazy. And she has like had so much success just because she experienced the Biggie Month and she learned about herself, and she didn't quit. She didn't put her head down and say, I'm done. She just simply took a pivot and got back on path to what is authentic for her. And that's massive. That is truly massive. And all the while, because she listened to that intuition, there's things that are happening actually even outside of her business in her personal life that are just like opportunities landing in her lap. Like all of a sudden things are getting really good surrounding her. And I'm going to tell you, I attribute all of that to her listening to what's going on inside of her. Like through that Biggie Month, she completely enhanced her inner power. And this is why I celebrate that. I don't ever think that she's a failure because she didn't stick to the process or stick to the strategy and see it all the way through. I would never say that's a failure. This is actually why the Biggie Month is so important, because she was determined to run this Biggie Month start to end. And then she like was feeling these sensations in her body. Like, I can't do this. Like, this doesn't feel right, but I'm not going to quit on myself. I'm going to figure out what does feel right, and I'm going to go with that. And that's the whole point, you guys. The whole point of this entire business is to find that voice and to never like quiet it down, like to always listen to that voice, because when you have that voice inside of you that is leading you, and when you can hear it and when you listen to it, there's no stopping you. Like success is inevitable. And that is what I don't know how to even articulate. Like that is what I want to coach you through. That is what I want to coach my clients through, is how do you listen to that and how do you take action on that? And that's the coolest thing ever to me, like the coolest thing ever. And I love that so much. So that's huge. There's a couple of other women. I feel like this is getting a little lengthy as an episode, but there's a couple of other women that had similar experiences where like Biggie Month was super overwhelming to them, and they figured out what they wanted to do and veer off the path of Biggie Month. And it worked for them. Like it's actually like working. Like I have one client who she ran her masterclass and only one person signed up. And she was in the midst of her masterclass and she realized like, I'm just gonna like totally go off script here and I'm gonna coach this one person who showed up to my masterclass one-on-one. And so she developed a relationship with this person one-on-one because she listened, because she got present, because she had emotional intelligence. And that's insane. Like, who's to say that that client doesn't become a lifelong client because of this one experience? And that's where I get back to like, yeah, it's super fun. It's super cool to have 100 people sign up for your masterclass, but we're here to change lives. Like, what if you have 100 people in the room and none of them feel seen because you can't give your energy to them in a certain type of way? Versus having one, maybe a smaller group on your masterclass when you first get started and you get to really reach out and touch them and change their life. Like that's a big freaking deal. And I love that she she had the audacity to say, you know what, I'm not going to go through all these slides, but let's work one-on-one and let's go through my framework of what I do with my one-on-one clients. And that's what she did. And this person loved the experience with her. And then I have another client who went through the Biggie Month and start to finish, like she's absolutely killing it. Like she has people, she launched a brand new mastermind, which is high ticket. She kicked it off at the end of either at the beginning of this month or the end of November. And she's filling the room. She's filling her mastermind and she's creating monthly recurring revenue and she's getting closer and closer to her goal. And so it's all different. It all depends on where you're at in your life, where you're at in your business. But this Biggie Month is like the beautiful opportunity to just get in motion. So if you take anything from this show, I hope it's that you take that getting in action and following a strategy. The goal is not always to like be tied to a specific result or to even like have a goal at all. The intention, which there's a big difference in my opinion between goal and intention. And I love setting goals, so don't get me wrong. But the intention is to find yourself. The intention is to get to know who you are because in my opinion, this whole like all that we're doing here by building empires and making impact on the world is we're actually getting to know ourselves as best we can and we're putting that magic into the world. And when you can get to know yourself and you feel very strong in who you are and you strengthen your core values and you just become like a really good human, it's inevitable. Like you get paid to do that. You get paid to do that when you don't keep it a secret and when you're actually putting yourself to the test and you're actually learning and you're actually growing. Like if the goal is always to have an experience, you're going to win no matter what. Okay. I'm going to end this here. And with that being said, the doors are still open to what I call the 6-figure standard. And this is a program unlike anything that I've ever hosted. It's going to be very much customized coaching. It's going to be a very intimate, small group of women who are basically looking to set up 2026 for a baseline of $100,000 coming into their business. So with that being said, obviously, if you know anything about me or if you just listen to this entire episode, we're not just going to be working on strategy, but I'm really going to be working with you on understanding where your point of power is internally right now and how to translate that into your content. The level at which you feel power, the level at which you have introspection, the level at which you are elevated in who you are is going to be determining the amount of people that come and follow you, the amount of people that come and want to be led by you. And so we'll be working on enhancing all of those things while also I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty with you in your business so that you can basically have a business model, a structure, and a plan that you wake up every single month in 2026 with guaranteed revenue coming in. And we're going to get you to 6 figures as like your baseline. Like that should be guaranteed for you at no stress, where you don't have to like launch something new every single month. You don't have to hustle your face off. You don't have to do anything except for just continuously scale and grow your business time and time again by refining who you are and refining how well you coach and lead and mentor. So if you're interested in the 6-figure standard, I will drop the link in the show notes below and you can go check that out. There's a little bit more information on there. As always, my DMs are open and I would love to have the conversation with you if you have any questions about the 6-figure standard. But the doors will close as soon as we kick it off because I think I would be doing you an injustice if I didn't, if you just had to watch the replay. So, okay. I'm going to pause there. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening and have a good week.